Hello there, Neil here. Hope you are well, and welcome to another Aussie online entrepreneur success interview. And today I am joined by the very, very lovely Sue Joesphson, who's up in Brizzy in Queensland. And Sue is our resident eBay queen. She makes an absolute fortune on eBay as well as her own website. She's very, very active within our Aussie online entrepreneurs community, and I know you're going to absolutely love today's interview. So without further ado, let's get into it, and let me introduce you to the lovely Sue. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
I rearranged my office so there wasn't paperwork and crap behind me. Stuck a picture behind me instead.
Your office sounds like my office.
Would have been nice to do it on the balcony at home overlooking the pool, but it's not a very nice day today.
Oh, isn't it? It's pretty crappy here.
No.
I've got to tell you, it's pretty horrible here. I was saying to Natasha this morning, Natasha's got this thing where she takes the piss out of me all the time. Anytime it's like a rainy day, I'm like, that's it, we're moving. I hate it.
Yeah, no. It's English weather today. It's that drizzly grey day too. It's like being in London.
So, Sue, a huge thank you for letting me interview you today.
No problem.
Our Aussie online entrepreneurs. I'm looking forward to it. So
Yes.
why don't we start? Look, why don't you give me a little bit of potted Sue history? Kind of what's your journey up to now? Potted version, of course.
The potted version is I come from photographic retail, and everybody knows what happened to photos when digital came in.
Yes.
So I owned two stores on Brisbane's north side, and digital was fast looming. So husband and I decided to sell while the selling was good, made some money, which was nice.
Always nice.
And I went to work for one of my suppliers, and he was importing. We sold photographic equipment, so we were importing from China, America, Japan. So it was very handy. So I got a very comfortable knowledge with customs agents and importing and dealing with overseas. So it didn't frighten me. So I decided to bring in some materials for my husband's business, and there the online journey began.
And before that, Sue,
selling his stuff.
So Sue, before that, so have you got children?
Yes, I do. Two grown-up children, and my first grandchild just turned 1 on the weekend. So
how fantastic!
We went down for his birthday down to Sydney. So
Granny Sue, lovely. I like it. Granny Sue's got a nice ring to
Granny
it.
Sue, Nana Sue. It's going to be a Nana Sue. So they're all grown up. My parents were in business. We had like corner stores, general stores. Mum and Dad had general stores. So I'm sure I learnt to count by, counting up the till. But certainly we learned about money that way. My brother and I learnt about change by counting the till for Mum and Dad. So that was, it's a good learning.
It's a very good learning.
Very much the same. They grew up in the shop and learnt about it very quickly.
I remember when I had my my restaurants, one of the things that we would always look for in our restaurant staff was kids with parents who were entrepreneurs, who basically had them working in their store or whatever it was for them, because they seemed to really grasp the concept of hard work at a much deeper level.
Yeah, true. Although my kids will now say they both went to university. My son's an engineer, my daughter's some high-flying business person. And they both said they wouldn't go into business for themselves because it's way too hard.
Is that what they said?
There you go.
So you put them off?
Yep. Yeah, we have put them off, They've seen the hard work that goes along with it.
Yeah, that's good.
But no, I love it. I'm not a good employee at all. I think I have a confession that I may be inherently lazy. So, which I think a lot of entrepreneurs are. So even when I made manager of photo stores by the time I was 21, and there had to be a really, really major reason for me to work on a Saturday or a Thursday night, because I didn't want to do that. That's way too much like too hard work. And same with buying my stores. My girls knew, like, somebody had to be dead for me to work on a Thursday night or a Saturday morning. So
I like that.
Yeah.
So anybody that's sitting at home watching this who's thinking to themselves, well, I don't really like working that much, just know.
Oh, no, that's why you do online. Far easier. Far easier. You don't even have customers over the counter. It's not like a retail store. Honestly, my admin lady and I, we sit across, if you could see my office, we sit across from each other at a desk, and customer, questions come in from eBay, and sometimes we just look at each other and go, are they serious? I mean, you have to be in a retail setting, you've got to be so nice and, and smile at the customer, but whereas online you can call them all the names and then you write these beautifully worded customer service emails. It's wonderful.
So you can be grumpy, belligerent and lazy and still kick ass online.
Absolutely, and still make a bucket load. Love it. Online's brilliant. Not everybody should do it.
No, please, not everybody should do it.
No,
Save it for us.
We want to leave it for ourselves.
And so talk a little bit about your online. What was your journey to doing your online thing? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yep. As I said, I was working for one of my suppliers, so we were importing from many countries. So that made me very comfortable with sending emails and dealing with people in that English wasn't their first language.
Yes.
Learning about cultures and things like that. And I think most importantly was having a great relationship with our customs agent. Your customs agent and your freight forwarders are key. They really are. People ask me, how do you import? And I said, honestly, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I send money overseas. I get an invoice. I send it I use Aurora Global Logistics here in Brisbane, and they just look after everything. A few weeks later, it arrives on my doorstep and I pay their bill. So it's wonderful. But so a good customs agent is absolutely key.
And you're using, just for anybody who missed that, because it's always great to get a good recommendation. Who are you using again?
Yep. Aurora Global Logistics, and I'll put a link to them in the group later on.
Great, thank you. That'd be awesome. All right, so really, that's wonderful that you say that, because a lot of people go into this online business thinking that they've got to know everything. Is that the case?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not the case. No, not at all. You have to know your product, and in that sense, it's the same as any retail business. And in the beginning, and people talk a lot about passion, and I don't even think that's the thing. I'm not passionate about what I sell. It's not even my thing.
Good.
It's stuff to do with my husband's business.
Yeah.
And he knows about it. Often I'll get questions and I've got to ask him because honestly I have no idea. So, but that's what we started. We started bringing in so that I could save some money in his business, and thought, I wonder if this will sell on eBay. Tried to put some stuff up, and it did. It did very, very well.
Good.
2 BMWs later, very well. Yeah.
2 BMWs later, holy dooly. So there's a couple of things out of that then. So the first one is you mentioned this concept of being passionate about your product. You think that's bunkum?
Oh, look, I think it helps. I'm very lucky because I do have somebody that knows about my product. So I've got my husband that I can answer the questions.
Yeah.
You have to be able to answer the questions on your product, so you have to know about it.
So knowledge rather than passion.
I think people chase the passionate product and probably get too emotionally involved in it. So you've certainly got to like what you do, but I think passion's a big word that gets bandied around in the online sphere far too easily.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. So it's not necessary to be passionate about it. It's more important for it to be profitable and for you to be knowledgeable.
Absolutely. Profit is king, cash is king, and that comes way back from my retail days working in retail, and it's exactly the same. There really is no difference in bricks and mortar retail and online. All the theory and the business side of it is exactly the same.
Yeah.
You've got a different way of selling. That's all. It's just a different channel. So,
and what are some of the differences between because I'm sure that everybody who's watching this video has been into a Westfield and looked at shops. What are some of the differences between retail shopping and online shopping from your point of view as a seller?
As a seller, like I said before, customer service. So in a retail sense, you've got to be on all the time, whereas in an online thing, you don't. But in saying that, I think customer service online is probably more important for repeat business. You said about Westfield. So if you live in Chermside in Brisbane, for instance, where there's a big Westfields, that's where you go.
Yes.
If you're looking for a blue spatula, let's do the old silicon spatula. If you're looking for a silicon spatula, there's millions of them online.
Yeah.
So your customer service and your reviews in that sense are very important. So it's very, very important to keep your customer service extremely high all the time. So you've got people coming back and back.
So in that way, that's a differentiator for you and a little bit of create some brand loyalty for you by having that?
Yeah, absolutely. And if people have bought off you once and know that it's easy, they'll buy off you again.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go into Westfields, you might get crappy service at Big W, but you'll go back to Big W because it's at Westfields down the road. You're not going to go to Westfields 5 suburbs away. Whereas with online, it's easy to go to the next store. It might be in another country, but it's 1 click away or 2 clicks away.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's very important. Customer service is very, very important. Yeah.
And you've made, I would say, the majority of your online income, at least, on eBay, haven't you?
Yep, definitely started on eBay, and then my product's not. It's not a consumable item, unfortunately. That's one thing to definitely look at when you're looking at products. Look for something that people have to buy over and over.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to ask you what that meant. Yeah.
Yep. So, my product's not a consumable item. So while I do get return business, I've got a few tradies that keep coming back. It's building trade related. So it's usually people will tell somebody I'll go to my store to buy other things. So, but predominantly on eBay. Now we're probably looking about 60-40 with our own website as well.
That's fantastic.
But it's probably taken 7 or 8 years now to get to that point. I've been selling online for quite a long time.
Yeah, that's great. And so, in terms of obviously Amazon's arriving here in Australia, so do you plan to move your existing listings on from eBay to Amazon, or are you going to do something new for Amazon?
No, I'll list my existing stuff. I won't be dropping eBay.
Yeah.
eBay's been good to us. Australians are used to shopping on eBay.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will look at Amazon to start. And certainly Amazon, it's going to do big things, and I will be listing on both. And I think it's important to list on both.
Yes.
You've got to be everywhere. Like our friend Nicola says, you've got to be everywhere online. Absolutely. So, that's my one message for everybody in the AOE. Don't think it's just Amazon. You should be everywhere.
That's great.
You should be on eBay as well. Yeah.
And Sue's referencing our mutual friend Nicola Cairncross, who's got a wonderful course called Be Everywhere Online that Sue and I have both done. And I couldn't agree. So anybody that's watching this then, and currently they're thinking Amazon, what would you say to them?
Look, Amazon's not in Australia yet. We still haven't got a fixed date of when it's starting. So pick your product or even not. Even, eBay is great for getting rid of stuff around the home.
Yeah.
Start listing on eBay. Start learning about the mechanics of selling online.
Good advice.
Start learning about doing that customer service.
Yeah.
Start learning about how to pack things, putting inserts in so that you get people back to your store. And just learn the mechanics of online. And we can do that. Australians spend billions of dollars every day on eBay Australia. Use it to learn.
So true. And so I guess one of the fundamental differences between eBay and Amazon is Amazon has its own fulfillment set up through FBA. How are you handling that using eBay? What's your strategies around that?
Oh, we have our own warehouse, and we ship ourselves.
Yeah.
We use a combination of Star Trek Express and an Australia Post e-parcel account. Now, we believe that Amazon's not going to be FBA in the beginning with Australia anyway.
Yeah.
So again, selling on eBay, people are going to get that experience of packing, how long it's going to take, and using Australia Post and packing their goods. If you wanted to do an FBA equivalent with eBay, you can use third-party logistics. There's things like Shipwire here in Australia, and I think there's a couple of others.
Yeah.
I've never used it. as I said, we've got our own warehouse, so we just ship directly from here. You know, our warehouse is like 3 doors down, so we just go a day and put parcels on it, and off we go.
I've used in Australia to do my shipments Shipwire, as Sue said, and they've been very, very good. So if you're thinking about outsourcing that, that's called third-party logistics. Shipwire, very, very good. What if they don't want to go to that expense? What if they're just kind of wanting to get them started? Is it okay to keep their products at home and then do it that way, Sue?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I mean, we live in a one-bedroom apartment, so there's not a lot of space to have stuff. So yet we have a warehouse. We have 2 warehouses. They're quite full. But, lots and lots of people will start with, and I know people on the AOE have too, start working out of your second bedroom or out of your garage, kick the car out and put stuff in and go from there.
And so if they're doing that, get started is good advice. If they're doing that, then you mentioned Star Trek and you also mentioned Australia Post. Are they still applicable working from your own spare bedroom or your office or your garage?
Oh, absolutely. If you've got a 9-to-5 job already, Star Trek or any, Star Trek or Toll or TNT or any of those, may be a little bit more of a problem because they need somewhere to collect from. Whereas Australia Post, you can drop into the post office. The only reason I use Star Trek is Australia Post won't carry anything, firstly, over 25 kilos and won't carry anything bigger than a metre. And quite a lot of my stuff is larger and bulkier, so it goes on Star Trek. But anything smaller, look into, used to be called Click and Send. It's now called AusPost My Business. Yeah. And they do 500 gram anywhere in Australia for $8.25. 3 kilo satchel anywhere in Australia, I think it's $13.50. $13.60. Once you're sending, I think it's 1,000 parcels a year, might be 1,500 parcels a year, then you can apply for a full e-parcel account, and it's probably 25% cheaper than that.
That's great.
So we get quite good rates, and you don't have to go to the post office. The big red van comes and picks up here from the office. So
that's fantastic. And anybody watching thinking, wow, 1,000 parcels a year, that's huge. That's only three a day.
That's right, yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah, it's not that many, yeah.
And so I can hear it now, Sue. I can hear people behind me saying, but wait a minute, what about the Chinese? How on earth can I compete with the Chinese on eBay when I'm in Australia? How can I compete with that?
If you're competing on price, quite simply, you can't.
Yeah.
That's just the fact of it. Now, that's not going to change with Amazon. You can be damn sure the Chinese sellers will sell on Amazon as well.
Yeah.
So nothing is going to change like that. I've had a look at the American postage prices, and they're really cheap. So, I mean, Americans have already got, quite good postage. Australia's a totally different kettle of fish. We will see the Chinese sellers selling on Amazon as well. I'm 100% sure of that. They're not going to let their business go. So no, you can't compete on price. On some of the eBay masterminds that we're on, many people have called consistently for the Hong Kong Post subsidies to be drastically cut. I mean, the Australia Post and the government really needs to look at it because, I mean, I'm sure many people have bought off eBay from Hong Kong or China and seen that it costs them, I've often got, little computer leads and things, and it's cost them $1 Hong Kong dollar.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, it lands here in usually Cairns or Darwin, and then Australia Post carry it. So Australia Post is losing bucket loads of money, and I'm really surprised that they haven't addressed that issue.
Yes.
But I mean, it's not going to happen, and that's the fact of life. So how do you compete with the Chinese sellers? On price, you can't. You can only really push the fact that you're Australian. Use your ideas with your hero image and then your second and third image, having really pushed the point that you're Australian. Push the point that you ship with Australia Post and it will arrive quickly, not 4 weeks from China.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes people are happy to get it from China. I'm happy to get it from China quite often.
Yeah.
If I just want some spare iPad cables, I buy them at $1 each, and I'm happy to wait a month for them.
Yeah.
But
I think as well that there's this, I think you mentioned it already, and it was very, very cool, around very small items like computer leads, computer cables.
Yep.
Don't sell
Yep.
that sort of stuff, because you are going to be competing with China.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely going to be like iPhone covers, that sort of stuff. Forget about it. You've got to go find something unique to sell that the Chinese are not going to be selling, and that's where your another competitive edge comes from. Would you agree with that, Sue?
Absolutely, absolutely. And in the AOE training, you said, small items up to that 500 gram mark. For Australia, because we've got the Chinese sellers, I'd probably look more between the 500 and the 3 kilo pack. So get up to that $13 3 kilo, and then there's a 5 kilo bag as well.
Yeah.
Because once they go over that 500 gram, then you'll find your Chinese sellers drop off. There's not that many of them.
That's right.
It's those little tiny items that the Chinese dominate. Yeah.
I remember I interviewed Jeff Wainwright, who's I'll put his interview just up there for you at the end. I interviewed Jeff, and Jeff said that he started off on eBay selling rabbit hutchers. Now, clearly, rabbit hutchers are huge, big things, but he made a lot of money. I think $30,000 a month, something ridiculous like that.
Absolutely.
Selling those. So that speaks to what you were talking about, Sue, in terms of larger items.
Yep. The larger items, again, if you've got a 9 to 5 job, may get a little difficult if you can't take it to the post office. That's the only thing. So if you've got a nice boss who will let you have a Star Trek person turn up to work, great. But yeah, there's a big juggling act if you've got a 9 to 5 job for sure. But post office certainly works. So big bulky items most definitely do make lots and lots of money. And the good thing with big bulky items is there's really good profit margins. So on the forum recently on the group, I was showing off our new computer chairs that we bought them off eBay. Cost us $137 each.
Yes.
Now when I have a look at them, how much we can buy them from Alibaba, you get them for about $40.
Yeah.
Massive money.
Massive.
In big items. So you might only sell 1 or 2 a week, which means hooks into my laziness liking. You might be earning $200 for two items a week. Big deal.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Love it.
All of a sudden,
certainly don't discount big bulky items.
I think that's solid advice, Sue. And you've been selling online now for 7 years. What do you wish you would have known about selling online when you first got started?
Oh, gee, I had to think about that one. I was very lucky in the fact that I was working for a company who was already importing. So by the time I did it on my own, I'd already done it. I'd been doing it for nearly 2 years. And I was trying to think, what mistakes did we make, my ex-boss and I, what mistakes did we make right in the beginning? And I couldn't really think of one, because, it was sort of, he already knew the contacts overseas, and we had, definite things. So, I really struggled to answer that question. I'm sorry.
Well, look, let me try asking you in a different way then, because I know that you are very, very active in the Aussie online entrepreneurs community, and thank you for that. You help out a lot of our community make a lot more money, which is wonderful. What do you see as consistent rookie errors that people make when they're listing?
When they're listing, or where they're looking for product. When they're looking for product, again, I think that comes back down to passion.
Yeah.
Don't get too hung up. Look at it purely on the numbers. I've got little booklets out there that show, 10 products that sell $10,000 in a month, and just give people ideas on what sort of products to sell as well. Mistakes that they make when listing, bad images, poor copy, bad grammar, bad spelling. eBay and Amazon, I'm sure, people are grammar Nazis. You see it on social media all the time, so it is important to get it right.
Yes.
Too small a font. Don't put Times Roman 8 font. 12 and 14, and a sans serif font, which means not with the little bits on the top of things. So
Yes.
I use Arial usually. I use Arial size 12. Don't need to be bold. Use colour, which I don't think you can do on Amazon, can't you?
No, you can't. You're right.
Colorise your headings, yeah. But in eBay, yeah, use of colour. Images, spelling, grammar, number one things. Yeah.
And if somebody's watching this, Sue, and they're thinking to themselves, it sounds wonderful what you've done, and I know that, your online business has paid for a wonderful lifestyle for you, including your love of BMWs, which is fantastic. I know there's a couple of BMW fanatics in our AOE. Scotty Muir, for instance, loves his BMW, his Alpinas. Yep. But if somebody's sitting there thinking, I don't know, I'm a bit scared to get started. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to go about it. I'm just a bit scared. What advice would you have for those sort of people?
Start up an eBay account if you don't already. My guess would be 90% of people have an eBay and a PayPal account already.
Yeah.
Walk around the house. Tomorrow's Friday. Walk around the house on the weekend. Declutter your house and list all your crap. Get started.
Yeah.
Just start it. Practice writing. If it doesn't sell in a week, list it again. Redo the listing. Do it again. And just start. Yeah. So just start and get learning while you're looking for products to sell on your own, but just get started. Yeah, it's number one thing. And the other thing, it's very easy to look at people like myself or like you and others that are on the forum, on the group that are making money. Don't compare your start to somebody else's middle.
Yeah.
Like we've already done it. I've been online for 7 or 8 years. Back in the beginning, I didn't know much either. So, and it's just a case of doing it, and it will grow. It will most definitely grow.
Yeah.
And you've just got to give it time. Yeah.
That's really great advice. I love that kind of don't compare your start to somebody else's middle. So true.
Absolutely.
You see loads and loads of people, within our community banding around 10,000, 100,000, all these kind of things. But you're right. Where you are is exactly where you're supposed to be.
Where you're supposed to be. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
That's wonderful. Look, Sue, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us today and for sharing some great information with us. Thank you so much for that. And a huge thank you for being a part of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs and for making what we do at the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs so much better by being our resident eBay queen. Thanks so much, Sue.
Excellent. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you go. Huge thank you for watching through to the end, and I hope you enjoyed that interview. I think you'll agree Sue shared some fantastic information with us, and if you like this and you want some more, be sure to watch some of the videos which I'll put links to just up there and just down there, and also be sure to subscribe to my channel, which is just below there. And if you want to check out the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs, you'll find a link to do that just underneath that video. There's over 300 great Australians just like you who are all building our e-commerce empires to set ourselves free. Come and join us. You'll fit right in. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.